I think we should be live. Hey guys, is the camera like right on my? Yeah, that's pretty good. So, this is a bit of a different thing that I'm trying out right now. I am gonna be. This is so. As you can see from the title, let's learn Mongolian. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, "Oh, he's being ironic. It's a joke. It's a big old joke." It's not. We're actually gonna be learning Mongolian. Well, not Mongolian exactly. We're not gonna start learning the language directly. Maybe I should turn on the volume. One sec. Yeah. So we're gonna be like just learning about the basic linguistics. Maybe like this is the grammar, because I'm really interested in learning all of that. So I thought, hey, how about because like as you can see, I have a fuck ton of tabs open here. That means I already kind of looked through. I sifted through, and then I was like, hey, how about I record this? Let's just see what rabbit hole we go down in terms of history and language. Ah, sorry, excuse that. So, whenever wanting to learn a language, what do? We live in the age of information. We just fucking go on Google and search learn Mongolian script. Because always one good advice is a lot of people just start learning language by just looking up phrases and shit. But I mean that, it depends on what kind of what part of the language you want to learn. Let's say you're going to Mongolia, so I'm going to just learn the fucking, how to speak Mongolian. But in my case, I'm not going to Mongolia anytime soon. I'm not really even leaving my house anytime soon. So when I learn a language, usually why I learn a language is just because I want to learn, because it looks cool. So like, hey, I want to see if I can maybe learn it. Usually I'm able to learn it, but I just want to learn the history behind it. I want to learn how it was formed, why it is the way it is, and I just find that very interesting. So the first thing I did, I just searched learn Mongolian script, because that's the same thing I did for Japanese, and I found the script. But the thing is, the reason why I'm wanting to learn Mongolian and wanting to learn about the history of the Mongolian language, is because this is a very, very unique language. Like, it is, in my opinion, one of the more, like, you don't really see languages like this anymore. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. In my opinion, it's a very, very unique language, as is most languages. But the thing is, it has a very different script that I have not seen in really any other language. Well, I mean, the basic, like, going down. I think I've seen like a vertical script. I've seen like you see that in Japanese, Chinese, and maybe a couple of more languages. That's the most popular one, though. I think the East Asian languages usually do have that, but so I guess that is to be expected. But as you can see, it almost looks like upside down Arabic, which is pretty interesting. Because from what I learned, what I know about Mongolian, all I know about Mongolian is through extra history. I watched a couple of videos theirs. I watched a few lang focus videos, and I have a sort of like an idea of what the language is kind of about. But honestly, I don't know like hell of a lot about it. Like just know the basics. I know a couple of things about it, but it's very intriguing. It's a very interesting language to learn more about. So let's like see what I was doing here. So how did I open these? Because obviously I don't know about the Sogdin and all the morphology. Okay, so basically the way I reached these various tabs, the way I just didn't open them one by one. This is kind of a rabbit hole that I went down this morning. I just woke up and I was like, hey, I want to see some Mongolian. So I was like, hey, let me just search Mongolian. I'll learn Mongolian script, and then I just was looking at pictures, and I was pretty interested by this one, and I clicked on the website. And let me tell you, I found a pretty fucking dope-ass website, alright? It's called Omniglot. I highly recommend you guys check this out, because it's pretty fucking cool shit. I never thought like I'd be finding this kind of stuff here. I was bringing anything, I'll just fucking copy like this. Wait. Like a basic version of it. I was thinking I might start learning it in fucking Cyrillic or something, but then I was like, nah, I want to learn the actual, like, the new script. Because I heard, like, news about, like, how they're going to be changing message hidden from blocked users. There's a blocked user here. Ooh, I don't remember who I blocked, but I think I did block someone. So if you're watching this, I think I know who you are, but I don't know, man. If I blocked you, then I probably blocked you for some reason. Then you were someone who is not really. I don't remember when I did that, but I think I did. Something had happened and I blocked someone. But anyways, so why this? Like, why am I not learning the Cyrillic? Because if I do learn the Cyrillic, I can basically get two birds with one stone. I can, maybe even step my little footies into Russian at some point too. But I don't really, I don't know about that. I'm not like too keen about learning Russian, although it is a very interesting language as well, as is most languages. But I feel like this script is very enticing. It's like, whoa, it's almost wanting me to learn it. So yeah, I saw this, then I went to this Omniglot language, which has like the history and like the basic like almost. This is like a linguist's dream, I'd say, pretty much, because it has like all of the stuff that you'd want to learn about the language and like how it is formed, like a bit of a history as to how it came to be the way it is. So let's take a look at that, and then I'll tell you guys how basically I came upon these other tabs here as well. So Mongolian is an Alaic, how do you say that? Altaic language spoken by approximately 5 million people in Mongolia, China, Afghanistan, and Russia. There are a number of closely related varieties of Mongolian Kalaka. There's a lot of K sounds, I think. I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of K, and there's a lot of things that are going to be hard to pronounce, I believe. So, Kalaka or Hala. I think that's a different way of saying it. That's pretty interesting. The national language of Mongolia and Oirat, Charhar. Charhar. I don't know how they say the R's, though. I'm going to have to look into that. And Ordos, which are spoken mainly in the Inner Mongolian Autonomous Region of China. Yeah, okay. Other languages considered part of the Mongolian language family, but separate from Mongolian, include Buryat and Kalmyk. Kalmyk. I don't know how to exactly say that. So yeah, basically they have these hyperlinks embedded into the whole thing. So I was just taking a look at that, and then there's like, when did the written Mongolish? Because I've heard one thing that a lot of people say, mainly a lot of historians say about Mongolian, is that there was really never any need for Mongolians to write their language down, because they're a group of, they used to be at least, a group of hunter-gathering people, right? There's not hunter-gathering, but more so like a very, how do you say, very nomadic folk. They used to move around a lot, they used to shoot, hunt, all that, And so there was really not much writing going on in old Mongolia during our boy Chinggis Khan's rule. So there's no, I don't think, for a long time, I don't think there was like a standardized way that Mongolian was written. It was very much so, I think, a spoken language from what I know. So in 1208, Chinggis Khan defeated the Naimans. So when I hear like one of these kind of groups mentioned, I usually just like search up like exactly what and how they are, so I have like a bit of context as to like what the origins of it might be. Naimans, Mongolia. Naiman's Mongol. Naiman Mongol. Okay. This is a pretty good native language. Is a pretty good channel to like check out if you guys wanna, learn more about that. So I usually watch it, but like I'm trying to avoid watching videos because I don't know, like I've always been very interested in language, and obviously because I'm so interested in languages and on history, I'm subscribed to a lot of YouTube channels that do cover that. But I feel like I want to like start seeing how I want to explore for myself. I just want to see like what I could find if I just go and Google it and like click on the first link, or maybe like a link or two, and just like see what I myself can find. I feel like personal curation is fucking amazing. It really is. Opens the door to a lot of people to just start exploring the world of languages. But I just want to see for myself, I guess, like what I can find. The name on Mongolian is a tribe originating in Mongolia, one of the tribes in Middle Jews, Kazakh nation. Alright, so let's see where exactly this is in terms of location. Okay. So yeah, it's towards the west here, so I guess it's more so closer to like the Tibetan region. Is that a Xinjiang region now in China? I'm not sure. Alright, it's one of the bigger ones. Okay, so I guess they were the ones. Oh, is this Quantum 3 big? Bakshodi Bandkar. Man, don't say that. It's languages, man. You don't want to learn history, dude? What's wrong with you, bro? Ooh, hi, Vihan. I'm really interested in learning that. I wanted to like try something with this, Vihan, so you can leave me. I'll join you in like 10-20 minutes. It's gonna be a short stream. I just want to see like if this is a format that I can work with, okay? Because I just want to fucking do it. Leave me to it, boy. I'll come in like 10 minutes or so. Or I just might end it, Because I think I should figure out like a way to curate this. Thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. But yeah, so basically, what I'm trying to do is, I'm just seeing the history of Mongolian and I'm trying to trace. So, if you go down here, you'll see that, yeah, this is where I got the first link from. So, old Uyghur alphabet. So, I wanted to see aesthetic of the channel is nice. 8 out of 10. Thank you, man. Did you just make this account? How did you even fucking know that I was live? Thank you. This is the fucking mic. Can you believe it? Fucking sweet. So I found this first link here, and then I reached this Uyghur language. So because I thought, okay, so Uyghur might be like the Kill me if you could decide to learn Welsh. Welsh, yeah, I think I might just because I fucking. That's very interesting. It's very hard to. They don't have any syllables or something. I think it's a pretty interesting language. I'll look into that as well. I think that'd be pretty interesting as well. I will do that. So for the old Uyghur, I thought that's gonna be like the precursor to Mongolian. So I wanted to see like exactly how they reached this sort of like a vertical way of writing their language down. Because like I think it was very popular to do that. I could be wrong, but I just wanted to see like if the Uyghur language had the same thing, like if they wrote the language the same as them. Okay, so they did, as you can see that. They're writing it upside down, or vertical, I guess. Okay, it's a Turkic language with 25 million speakers, mainly in the Xinjiang region. My pronunciation is fucking shit, so don't rely on me pronouncing it well. Mainly in the Xinjiang region, Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous region in the northwestern China. Okay, so that's also region still in China, where it is an official language in the Xinjiang Uyghur is used in the media as the lingua franca among the peoples. There are also communities of Uyghur people. Ooh, okay, that's fucking interesting. She's in Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. Okay, it was originally written in the Orkhon alphabet. Okay, so as you can see, I read this like Uyghur was originally written in the Orkhon alphabet. So that's another clue to understanding where this vertical form of writing comes from. Because that's my main objective. Like I got interested in like knowing like why do they write it up like vertically? Like what made them do that? Because I mean, if my initial guess was that hey, they might have just been inspired by the Arabic folk and just taken their stuff and then just written down. Because like if you just look at it, it seems like that's just upside down Arabic. They probably it's just Arabic letters and all that just written vertically. But that's not the case. All the letters and all that are very different. Another thing I just saw, like a few minutes ago, I saw, as you can see, like look at that. That's so interesting, right? They have initial, medial, medial and final. And initially, and I thought to myself, like, oh, what is that? Why do they have that? What does that mean? Like initial, medial, and final letter. And I realized that because they write their, words, their sentences, their words, in a vertical manner. So if the word starts with this, this character, then they're gonna use this as the initial one. And if this letter, I guess, or the character is used in the middle of the word, they're gonna use this. And if it's in the end, then they're gonna use this. So they have like different forms of that, which I can totally see how they might have, reached to like this standardization of writing it. Because I think this is because one thing that's pretty cool that you can understand by looking at the language is why it has those parts. For example, if I'm gonna go on a bit of a tiny tangent here, is that if you look at the runic language, the runic, like the Norse, if you've seen the Bluetooth logo, it's inspired from like the B in Norse, and it is like very like slit cut and like a very raw, almost like it's carved into wood or some hard surface, and for good reason, because that is how they do it. That is how it is done. They like, depending on what materials they have to write their language down, the way the language looks is gonna change. That's why you'll see that a lot of Chinese, like the old Chinese, if you look in like the old texts and stuff, it's like very like curvy and all that. Because you can see like a big part of Chinese culture is calligraphy. Like using a paintbrush to like draw everything, and that's why you'll see like old Chinese. Maybe I'll just show you guys real quick. Old Chinese. I just spelled that fucking horribly wrong. Or calligraphic Chinese, let's just say that. What the fuck is... Oh my god, I just searched an old Chinese man. Calligraphy Chinese. So as you can see, you can clearly see that it's fully made with a brush, right? And that is why, like, that's what's so interesting about it, because, like, that's how language changes, As you can see here, like the chat's coming in the way, but still. See, I think this is what they're trying to explain here. See, like how this. I think this is the one with like it has something to do with fire. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, so this is how it is changed into this. You know, initially it's like that, but then like after years and years of like making it, like it starts to change and evolve into like a more kind of standard way of doing it. You know, see, there's like a progression that you can see. So depending on what materials they use to make their, you know, to write their script down, the way the language looks is gonna change. So you can always like kind of tell like what they use to do it. So like this is I think more so like stencil. Like that's the same with Arabic. Arabic is a lot with done with like a stencil. And that's why it's like it's got like those thick lines and then like very thin lines followed by thick lines. And that is, you know, pretty fucking interesting in my opinion. So okay, let's come back to Ugyr and let's see where we get. So from there, I read that part like Ugyr. I don't know how to pronounce that, but I'm gonna learn soon enough. Uyghur. Is that a Uyghur? Oh my god, I think that is Uyghur. Oh. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because Uyghur people, you know, if you guys know about that, it's a huge, bit of a controversial topic to talk about. If you guys don't know, they're the Muslim folk living in China. I could have phrased that a little better, but as you can see here, the Uyghurs, they're the Turkic minority ethnic group originating from and culturally affiliated with the general region of Central and East Asia. The Uyghurs, I think it's pronounced the Uyghurs. So the Uyghurs are recognized as native to the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region in northwestern China. Okay, all right. So that's what that was. Because I thought like, hey, okay, I think I've heard Uyghur somewhere, and then I was like, oh, okay, it's pronounced Uyghur. And that makes sense. So Uyghur, that makes sense that like they would be inspired to write their things down after like defeating the Uyghur people occupying that region, and after that they like start writing it because, you know, the conquest of like the whole fucking world by the Mongolian folk began a little bit before 1208, I think. So this is like pretty like let's just see like exactly when they started to Mongolian Empire. So I see 1206, you know, so they started there standardizing their language, not even standardizing, but like writing it down. So it's like one step into standardizing their language. 2 years into the empire being a thing, and they're fucking shit. Like if you guys should really check out some of the videos on it that they have like about documenting like the excuse me growth of the empire. It's fucking crazy. So 1206, as you can see, this is a pretty good joke. This kind of explains my theory here about like how as they started, because the thing that is very interesting about Mongol people was that whenever they like captured a place, right, they wouldn't just enslave them and like treat the locals like shit. I mean, I don't know about the treatment, you know, like they were known to be a bit, let's just say, not the most kindest people in the way they treated folk. But what I'm saying is like a lot of the times you'll see like they kind of assimilated into the culture, be it that they introduced their culture to them. Basically you'll see there was a lot more mixing going on, you know, in Mongolian conquest. You know, a lot of people would tell you that too. Like there was a lot of, you know, coming and then capturing and then, you know, like slowly like integrating their stuff. They would like take their stuff and a lot of mixing going on. So it would make sense that once they would, you know, get hold of the Uyghur people, and geographically it's pretty close to Mongolia as well. So like they would be the first ones to be subjected by it, as you can see by this like GIF here. See, like once they like captured that, they probably like started assimilating their language into a written form, and then I guess the Mongolian, the modern Mongolian that we all know, was kind of created. Although not the one we know is like more so to do with the Cyrillic stuff. So a lot of people usually don't even know like the Mongolian is like a written form is different from the Cyrillic one. But yeah, so the Orkhon is like the precursor to the Uyghur language. So that's why I opened Old Turkic. So this is where I started thinking about runic alphabets and like runes and stuff. And that's where I got the Sogdian from. The Sogdian is, I think, a pretty famous empire now.